kind of set, which again, these are chase cards, so you're going to pay $5 or $10 each for these cards. The regular set, Empire Strikes Back Widevision, you can pick up for under $20 easily. The amount of information written on the back of those cards is incredible. And probably the most neglected part of trading card collecting is a lot of people never flip those cards over.
Just to add, those are what we call chase cards. They generally issue probably something like about 1 in 12 or 1 in 18 packets. So if you bought a whole box of cards, you would only have got 2 of those chase cards. There's 10 in the set, so meaning you'd have to have bought 3, maybe 5 entire boxes to complete that set of chase cards. That's why they're called chase cards.
And again, these are just some images from the Empire Strikes Back Widevision card set. Mostly promo card images to show you how Topps tries to sell their trading card sets to the next group of people coming up. They will issue promo cards right now down at their booth. They're giving out promo cards, none of which have anything to do with Empire Strikes Back. All of the stuff that they're promoting is stuff that's coming up soon. That's how you learn what the next set is going to be, and then, yay, that becomes a rare collectible for you that you can trade with and hopefully, use.
The 2 cards at the top, as Kathy said, are promo cards. The one that's showing Slave Run came from a convention way back when, which makes it one of the hardest promo cards to find from the Empire Strikes Back set. The 3 images at the bottom are oversized, what are called mini posters. Again, you get 1 per box. There were 6 in the set, and the middle image showed the back of the cards.
No, I don't have an image of the back, and that's unfortunate. Andy's chastising me for the slide. This is a new example of a modern New Zealand card. New Zealand is one of those places which is really, really tiny, and yet they managed to produce a lot of their own collectibles. Licensed through Topps and through Lucasfilm. The Scanlan set was a great example of a trading card set done just for them that was slightly different than the US set. These New Zealand Postacardz are another great example of a really fun to try to get card set. You have to remember that the entire population of New Zealand is smaller than most US states. It's smaller than some cities in the US. So you're not going to have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands produced. It's a much smaller amount. The Postacardz actually came with chocolate bars. And the backs of these, which is why Andy's saying, why aren't you showing that, were done glow in the dark, which is absolutely hilarious. Great images, some of them combined to make poster shots and just really fun stuff. But a lot of these were, damaged because they were next to chocolate, which melts when you mail it overseas. It was not always easy to get somebody to buy you chocolate in New Zealand, which was originally how I got my first set, was literally paying a New Zealand college student to eat chocolate. He later ate a lot of potato chips when Lay's did a set. One of the fun things about this as an Empire Strikes Back set is that they did a Star Wars set, they did an Empire Strikes Back set, they said they were going to do a Return of the Jedi set, and there was no Return of the Jedi set. The candy company actually went out of business. They thought that this was a really great idea and that they were going to make lots of money because it's Star Wars, right? Sure, but you're doing it in New Zealand where the population is really small. And although there are some die-hard Star Wars fans there, not enough.
Just to add on that, because they came in the packets with the chocolate, and the chocolate was moulded in the shapes of the characters, sometimes if you're really lucky, you can still get the shape of the character on the card. Not quite, but real tasty.
And just to go back one more time, because the company went out of business, hilariously enough, you could buy the mold that they used to make the chocolate. So they actually, they did prizes. They tried to promote this by, having prizes associated with this where you could mail away and win, action figures and Kenner stuff. One of the things you could mail away and win was a big plastic sheet to hold your cards in, literally a plastic sheet to hang on the wall that your cards fit in. It was odd. But you could eventually buy the molds that were used to make the chocolate. Unusual item, strange, but something that as a card collector you could add to your collection if you were crazy. I was.
I wasn't. Just for once. This is a very unusual Topps Widevision set. These were produced in quite limited numbers. Again, there was also a Star Wars set originally, and we were promised a Jedi set, which again sadly never materialised. This is the set. There are only 6 cards. They were originally sold at about $70 to $100 for a set, which at the time probably seemed quite expensive. These days you might see them on eBay for $400 a set. Would have been a real good investment. They're really the same size cards roughly as the Widevision, but they're quite chunky and are covered in a clear acrylic. It's one of the few sets as a trading card collector that you need to worry about them going rusty. They really are steel cards.
Yeah, this is one of those sets that you get a lot of questions about when people say, I've heard that there's a set made of steel. It can't possibly be steel, right? No, it is. They're heavy. And I can remember as recently as 1990 seeing a set being sold for $80 in a card shop because they didn't know what they had. This was a mail-away offer from Topps. Topps did a lot of mail-away offers at one point in their history, so you could mail away and buy the steel set. It was so unpopular that they eventually shipped all of the leftover sets that hadn't sold, even though this was a limited edition, only so many made, over to places in Europe where they were being sold in card shops. And a lot of those folks, again, just didn't know what it was that they had. It was leftover merchandise from the USA. So it was selling, at very nice, inexpensive prices. And then there was some horrible convention where some person might have said something about collectibles, and people got the idea that this was rare. And the minute the information was out there that this was rare, the prices went crazy. At one point in time, I've seen these sell for $600 a set on eBay. They have fallen in price since then, but it's still hundreds of dollars to buy these. And I still have folks who will say, hey, I've got these cards, they seem to be metal. Yeah, they are.
You could get them in the original little little brown cardboard mail-away box, but some companies produce them in a frame to display them, quite similar to those shown here. Possibly they're the ones from Europe. This was the set of cards that came from the Family Guy video set. They did a set with the original Family Guy set. They were blue to match the original Topps cards. Now we've got red. With a bit of luck, they'll follow through with the colours with the next one. Very cute cards. And surprise to me, I've forgotten. And the backs make up the final scene from Empire Strikes Back. Very cute set, and again, they just come with a DVD, so it's a reasonably inexpensive set. For the original Family Guy movie, there was a complete set of about 50, 60 trading cards, and unfortunately they didn't make one for something dark side.
So what can you collect today? I always like to point out that even when Topps isn't making a nice new card set, or when there isn't some lovely vintage set jumping up out of the blue, there's always something new being bootlegged in some part of the world. Right now, South America seems to be really into making some bootleg stuff, and this particular bootleg set is just as an example from Argentina. It is teeny, teeny, tiny. These cards are about 1.5 inches tall. They would make really great trading cards for your G.I. Joe. The cards are from a company called Twins. They put their name on it, which is great. Lucasfilm can hunt them down. There are only 10 cards in a box, plus a title card, which doesn't have a title on it, it's just a picture. They come in Series A and B, and there is a little Series A box and a Series B box for each of the movies. So Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, and yes, those other three. They seem to have been produced all at once. They showed up on eBay for a while. They've disappeared again, and they tend to pop up again periodically, usually at very silly prices. Topps, of course, doesn't like to let the bootleggers have all the fun. They are constantly coming out with new stuff, and because this is the 30th anniversary of Empire Strikes Back, which is why we're talking about Empire Strikes Back cards, Topps did finally make Empire Strikes Back in a 3D card set. It's very small card set, it's very small number of cards in it. It is very inexpensive to buy. You can buy a pack of cards for $1.99 and you get 3 trading cards. That sounds not very many, but in actuality, since there's less than 50 to collect, it's not too bad. If you bought a box of these for give or take $60, you would get pretty much a full set of the trading cards and usually a sketch or an autograph card in the box. If you got a sketch in the box, you pretty much had a shot at getting a sketch and an autograph in the box because of the way they packaged them, which was not a bad deal if you were lucky, but if you were like me, you just got a sketch. Yeah. The card shown on top here was the promo card issued for the set. There aren't a lot of the promo cards around. Topps was really creative. They gave them to dealers. No, they actually, in addition to giving them to card dealers to promote, hey, we want you to sell this new card set coming out, they did actually do some web giveaways where they hooked up with a variety of websites, non-sport trading cards, my website, and a few others, and gave out quantities of cards directly to collectors through little contests and things, which was an incredibly creative idea on their part, says the girl who was able to give away a bunch of cards. The card images, unfortunately on screen, don't display in the full 3D effect, but these are actually layered cards, so that when you look at them, as you turn the card, you can actually see that this is more than one image layered on top of the other image. That's a really expensive process to do, and apparently that is why we had to wait almost 15 years for Star Wars 3D to Empire Strikes Back 3D. We really, really hope that they will do Return of the Jedi 3D, but if they're like a lot of other trading card sets, you very often go Star Wars, Empire, stop.